Hello and welcome to our last video. We're still talking about spread. We're still on that same section, but this is part 2. And we're going to look at quartiles and the 5-number summary. First, let me explain what the quartiles are. When we're looking at a set of data values, now, when we do these, our data values need to be in order from smallest to largest. That's the first thing we have to do is arrange the data values. The lower quartile, or what we call the first quartile, it divides the lowest fourth of a data set from the upper 3/4. So in other words, the lowest quartile, or the first quartile, it lowers it. That's your first quarter. It is the median of the data values in the lower half of the data set. The middle quartile, or second quartile, that's the median of the whole data. So when you're finding the median of your data set, that's what we call actually the second quartile. Then we have the upper quartile, or third quartile. That divides the lowest 3/4 of a data set from the upper fourth. So it's your upper quartile. And that would be the median of the upper half of the data. What is the 5-number summary? The 5-number summary, when we talk about the 5-number summary of a data set, it's the lowest value, that's easy, right? And look at the highest value. Those are the two easiest numbers for you. Then you have the median of the whole data set. Then you have the lower quartile and then the upper quartile. I just went over verbally, right, what the quartiles mean, but I think it'll make more sense, I always say this, right, when we jump into an example. So we're looking at this data set, and this is a set, there's 2 sets of data. So we have set 1, set 2, they're 2 separate sets. And it's showing us 20 100-meter running times in seconds. We want to find the 5-number summary. So let's look at set 1. Okay, 5-number summary of set 1. It's the lowest value of the data set, that's the 9.92. Then we have 3 numbers in between, I'm going to leave that. And then the highest number, which is the 10.38. And then we have 3 numbers in between that we need to find. The first thing I like to find is the median of the whole data set, because the median then will kind of split my other data right into the 2 parts, which is what I need to find my quartiles. So I'm going to find the median, but notice this is 20 numbers, an even amount of numbers. Remember, when we have an even number of data values, what do we have to do? We have to find the median of the mean of the 2 middle numbers, because there isn't a middle number just from the data set that's even. So going back to your previous 2 videos ago, we talked about when we had an even number of data values, we have to find those 2 middle numbers. Well, this is nice because it's actually broken down into the first 10 and the second 10. Your 2 middle numbers then is going to be the 10.13 and the 10.14. Those are your 2 middle numbers. And then that splits my data into 2 equal halves. But the middle number of those 2, the mean of those 2, meaning to find the median, which is your second quartile, I need to take 10.13 plus 10.14 and divide by 2. Because remember, to find the median of an even number of data values, you have to find the 2 middle numbers and then take the average of those numbers. So add those up and we get 10 point, and I'm going to just round. I'm just thinking for a second. I'm going to round 2 places. So this would be, oops, and we lost the decimal I had there. So that would be 10.14. That's the middle number of the value set of all of these data sets. Okay, that's our median. So that goes in the middle over here, 10.14. Now I need to find, going back up here, the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Now, if these were I'm just going to tell you right now, if these were an odd number of data values, it would be very easy. You would just literally pick out your middle numbers and you're done. It's much easier. I purposely chose this for the video so that you can work through what happens when you have an even number, because we have to find the median of even numbers every time. So even for the lower quartiles, let me kind of explain. So the lower quartile then, and let me just erase what I have here because I don't want to get that confused. The lower quartile. So let me just change the colors for that one so I can kind of go over here. The lower quartile is the median of the lower half of the data. So this is your lower half. You have the lower half and then you have the upper half. So I need to find the two because again, there's 10 numbers. That's an even amount. I have to find my two middle numbers of these 10 numbers. That's right here. Notice, because then I have 4 numbers below, 4 numbers above. So I did find the two middle numbers. Now I need to find the median here, which is the mean of these two numbers. I'm going to take the 10.06 plus the 10.07 and then take half of that. Now, if I divide and I just round to the nearest tenth, that gives me 100th. I'm going to stay consistent with what we just did before. That gives me 10.07. But again, always pay attention in the instructions of your homework how far to round. If it said 3 places, I would take this another place. So 10.07, I'm going to go down here. That is the median then of the lowest half of the data. Trying to write and talk at the same time never works for me. And that would be 10.07. So that is the median. That is the lower quartile, okay? The median of that. Now we go back. So look up here. Now we find the upper quartile. So I go over here. The upper quartile. Now I'm going to find the median of the second half of the data values. That's here. So that's going to be, and let me just again switch colors. That's going to be these two values. So I'm going to take 10.18 plus 10.21. Oh, I don't have a lot of room. Just made it. Divided by 2. Add those two values, divide by 2. And again, we're just rounding 2 places. And we get 10. Well, actually, that's going to round up because on my calculator it'd be 10.19. So really, I can only just rounded this. So it'd be 10.2 if I'm rounding. Then that means I go back to my 5-number summary, and this is the upper quartile, the median of the upper quartile. So that would be the 10.2. This right here, that would be the 5-number summary of set 1. All right. Now, I'm going to erase everything I just did here, but you have the video. You can always click rewind or pause or take a picture, whatever you want to do there. The reason why I'm erasing all of this is because I don't want it to confuse you for the second set. Now, I'm actually not going to work through the second set because I want you to try the second set and see how you do. Oops, did not mean to do that. See what you get for set 2. So pause the video and find the 5-number summary for set 2. Once you're done, unpause because then I'll be jumping right into the actual answers here. All right, so pause because then I'm going to come back. All right, so I'm going to write down the values of our 5-number summary, but with set 2. Lowest value would have been 9.89. Like I said, the two values that are the easiest is the lowest value and the highest value. So we get 9.89. But then we want to find the value of the lower quartile, which would be 10.38. And then the median of the data value set was 11.02 if we're rounding 2 places. The upper quartile was 11.66. That's what I'm seeing on here. And then for the highest number, that would have just been 12. If we're going to be consistent with how we write it, I'll just say 12.00. But this is your 5-number summary then for set 2. All right, that ends our section and it ends our whole unit.